everyone! I hope you didn't miss last week's segment wherein my daughter took over my channel. She shared with us how to make that delicious boba. So thank you, Heather, and of course special shout out to her fiance Andrew for doing such a wonderful job in producing that segment. I am a happy mom knowing that I have imparted to her the love of cooking. She too has been doing some magic in the kitchen, and as attested by Andrew, her food is restaurant quality. Heather influenced me now with my newfound love of baking. I know everyone is baking nowadays, and I think I'm tardy to the party, but it's okay. I would like to share with you today is how to make Filipino roll called Pandesal. So stick with me within the next few minutes and I will show you the secrets and tricks on how to make the buttery soft pandesal. And also at the end of the segment, you will see how my friends reacted when they sampled the pandesal. Just to let you know that this is really very good. Alright, are you ready? Are you ready? So let's start.
I shared a recipe of how to make pandesal years ago in this channel. It was eggless and also milkless that I got from my friend Bosu. But then I wanted to go the whole 9 yards, and I tried so many recipes online, but it was a hit and miss. Then I remembered I have a recipe that my father-in-law forwarded to me years ago when I just started blogging, and then tada, thanks to Gmail, they kept the letter from 2011, and I am proud to share with you a classic recipe that his friend Dennis shares. So thank you, Papa, for sharing with me the recipe, and of course to your friend Dennis. Before I share the ingredients, I'd like to highlight the importance of measuring your ingredients properly. Well, they say that baking is science, and that's exactly the reason why I didn't like baking before. But then it's just a matter of using the right tools. Just like, for instance, the digital scale, it measures our flour as precise as we can. So just as we needed 3 cups of flour, and that's 384 grams. Now for the sugar, we need 1/4 cup or 50 grams. Now after measuring them, I've grouped it into 4 groups, A, B, C, and D. For the first group, we have lukewarm milk, 3 teaspoon active dry yeast, 1/4 lukewarm water, and 1 teaspoon sugar. For group B, we have 2 egg yolks and 1/4 cup milk. And now for the third group, we have 3 cups of bread flour, or that's 384 grams. And then we have 1/4 cup melted butter. Also, we have 1/4 cup sugar and 1 teaspoon salt, and I used the pink Himalayan salt. And lastly, we have 1/4 cup bread flour, or again, that's 32 grams, and 1 tablespoon of butter. Alright, the fun stuff. So first to tackle is our group A ingredients, which is basically we're blooming the yeast. Alright, mental note. There are 2 kinds of dry yeast. One is the active dry yeast and the other one is the instant yeast. According to What's Up Cooking America, you could use them interchangeably. However, you don't need to proof the instant yeast. So now what we're doing here is the process of blooming our yeast. This kind of scared me before, but again, let's employ the use of another tool, which is our thermometer. Because before, when we say warm, how warm is warm? I would ask myself. But now, it's within the limits of 105 to 110 degrees. Because if it's too hot, it's gonna kill our yeast. So tada! We've mixed our yeast and then also sugar. Mix it gently. And then, after that, we wait for 8 to 10 minutes. What we're looking for is for the yeast to bubble and there's froth on top. We set that aside and then on to our second group of ingredients, which is basically the eggs and the warm milk. Your eggs too must be on room temp. Now moving forward to our third group of ingredients with dry ingredients. flour. I'd like to use my electric mixer, so I'm using the bowl for that now. So we mix the flour and then the butter and then also the sugar and then the salt. So what we're doing is just incorporate all the ingredients together. We're just also waiting for the yeast to proof before we get them to tango. But then also my friend said yesterday that he doesn't have a stand mixer. It's fine. You could use your bare hands with it. Making bread makes me realize that it tests your virtues, like the virtue of patience, because it involves a lot of waiting. Also, the virtue of compassion and understanding, because you have to understand and listen to your ingredients. You have to know when your dough is ready, and just like, for instance, this yeast.
Ta-da! It's telling me, hey, I'm ready. What I want to do is mix all our liquids together. So this looks good. We mix the group A into group B. And now I want to transfer your attention to the mixing of the flour and also the liquid.
Okay, my sincere hope is for you to come up with a delicious buttery pandesal. So let's have a recap. First, on the group A of ingredients, we bloomed the yeast. The second group of ingredients, we just mixed it. And then the third one, which is composed of the flour, sugar, salt, all we need was to incorporate all this together and bind it with our butter. And then as soon as our yeast bloomed, we mixed it with the other liquid ingredients found on group B. And then now we're ready to mix the liquid ingredients with our flour. And we're doing that slowly. And once we've poured in all the liquid ingredients, we are now ready to increase the speed into faster. So this is like the kneading part if you're using your bare hands. So this will last for the next 7 to 8 minutes, or until the dough is nice and smooth. I will also show you later how to do some tests in order for us to know whether the dough is already ready. As I told you, we have to listen to our ingredients, right?
So this is after a minute. That's how it looks like. So for the recipe, it calls for a bread flour. Bread flour, the potential to rise is greater than the all-purpose flour because it has more protein. But if all you have is an all-purpose flour, you could also use it. You just have to work on it until you achieve the right texture of the dough, which I will show you later. After 3 minutes, this is how it looks like. For 4 minutes, this is how it looks like.
And we're halfway through. Now, but at this point, let's add the last group of ingredients, which is basically the butter and the flour. Now, do it again gradually. Butter, and then flour, and then butter again, and then add the flour again. And then what we're looking for is a nice texture, and we will do a window pane test in a bit.
It's been about 8 minutes, and so it's time to do the window pane test.
Window pane test is when you stretch the dough and when you see light through it and the dough doesn't break like that. So this dough should be okay. Wrap it around. See how beautiful that is? Nice and smooth. Is cover it with a towel, so let it rest for an hour or an hour and a half, or if you're like me who can't wait, I could put it in my oven at 170 degrees. See after 30 minutes. Alright, it's been 30 minutes and let's see. And boom! Wow! It's so jiggly and big. Let's do the point there. So when you poke it and it doesn't go back, you're good to go. Then the next thing we're gonna do is deflate it. I know, right? So let it rise, and then now we have to deflate it. Press it like so. Roll it back. Let's divide this into 2. 794 grams. Dad! 794 grams divided by 2. 397. So let's see. 397. Now, I divided it into 2 and I'll work on this one first. Where's my rolling pin? Roll it. Just to remove the air bubble. Roll it like a log. We're trying to make 10 and pandesal here, so it's about 39 grams each. What I want to do is measure 1. We'll go from there. 1 inch again, or 2 fingers. So the last step before we bake it in is to roll it with our breadcrumbs, like so. And you don't need to put parchment paper because the crumbs acts like, you know, they have their own feet, and it raises it a little bit, and that hot air will cook it nice and brown. So when we put it on our tray, make sure to have like a space in between. So we do the rest, let it grow a little bit, like 30 minutes. We cover it. Alright, are you ready to take a peek? Beautiful. There you go. Then we do the touch. So when you touch it and it has a dimple, it should be good. Alright, so now we're ready to bake them at 375 degrees for 12 to 15 minutes or until it's brown. I prefer it to be light brown and not dark brown. Now into the oven. And now the reveal. Woohoo! I'm happy with the size, the color, and also the shape. Oh my, it smells so good in here. But first, you know, we have to transfer it into a cooling rack. Stop the baking. Look at that. Perfect size, perfect color. Dad, the pandesal's ready. Come and get it while it's hot. Do you want cocoa jam, strawberry jam, or peanut butter?
Can I have liver spread?
Liver spread. Okay, liver spread with pandesal in it. Oh wow, that's beautiful.
How do you like it?
Good. Tastes like it's from
love it.
Rustak's.
Wow, from Rustan! So sweet.
I have a big chunk.
How about you, Dave? A while ago, you...
I can't taste it.
Yeah,
Needs another one.
So, Dave...
Malinamnam is what we say.
Yeah, it is, no?
And even the color, oh, with that darker color here and
Oh.
darker there, so nice. Oh,
Give me some corned
Sarap.
beef or some butter.
masarap. Talagang masarap.
Okay.
Pandesal heaven.
Or, what can you say?
I need a prosecco with this.
Ooh, Prosecco!
Cheers.
You made this?
Yeah, I did.
It's good and sweet.
Really Pandesal Manila.
The
Filipino talaga.
get quesong puti.
I know. Quezon Puti, yeah.
Excellent.
Tastes like home.
Buttery Pandesal.
There you go, guys. We're done with another segment, and I hope you have enjoyed this as much as I did. Now, I want you to go to your kitchen and experience the joy of baking pandesal. Hanggang sa muli, this is Malou saying, that's sarap!